Hey, what's up guys? I'm back. It's probably been about 3 weeks since I made a video. Got hit with the Superflu and started a new job on day shift now. So I'm still on second shift time, and I wake up. So when it's past 10 o'clock, I'm waking up and figured I'll just go ahead and do a video. After I had the flu there, that lasted forever, and actually I'm still kind of recovering from it. Finally went up to a comic book shop in Princeton, West Virginia that I really don't like going to because I kind of refer to it as ghetto comics, and they have tons of boxes of old dollar back issues. And I walked in this time, and just to tell you, things aren't going very good comic book wise around here. They had tons of people in there playing some kind of card game in a big tournament. And then on the other side of the store, they had a bunch of people playing some kind of futuristic war game with the figures about that big and tanks and rolling tons of dice. And all the comic books, the back issues, have gone from $1 a pop to $4 for $1. So I figured I'd take that opportunity to, take a chance on a few things I've heard about but didn't really want to spend the money to. First thing we have here, and this is actually CGC potential here. It looks almost perfect. Walt Simonson's run of Orion from I think around the year 2000. It's number 1, of course. Looks like I'm jumping around here a little bit. Got number 15. Really looking. That's a black racer coming up there. Really looking forward to this. I really have always kind of been a fan of Orion for some reason. I think it's between that helmet and his astro glider that he floats around, he flies around on. Number 18. Looks like we have some Green Lantern stories there. I think this is the tale of the the pact that the Green Lanterns made with Apocalypse, or the pact Apocalypse, probably the Guardians made. And we have some bringing out some Al Milgrom there. That's from 2001. And there's a little era of the Legion of Superheroes that the stories just really grabbed me. They're not really talked about. It's not some great big huge thing. But around starting Legion of Superheroes 300 with their anniversary issue, they had about 2 or 3 issues after that were just solid little comic book stories, real satisfying. The first one I went after is this one. The Emerald Empress pops up, and it's issue 303 of Legion of Superheroes. And Supergirl is there with the Legion, and for some reason I've always sort of been more of a fan of Supergirl popping up with the Legion than I am of Superboy. I'm not sure why. And I remember the whole idea here is that this is Supergirl meeting Superboy, and to me, I know it's time travel and there's all kinds of headaches with it, and it's probably talked about, but Supergirl met her cousin when he was Superman. So basically you have a hero from the DC future meeting a cousin from the past, and to me it's one of those things where you go cross-eyed and your head will explode if you think of it too much. But to me it just seemed to make more sense for Supergirl to be in the future anyway. Another issue there is 302. And this is Lightning Lad versus Lightning Lord. I remember these. I had these before. I'm not sure what happened to them. But from 300 to 304, just nice, solid little stories. 300 is an anniversary issue. They bring in Dave Cockrum, Keith Giffen, pretty much anybody who had worked on the Legion up to that point, and everybody got to do a little story. He had issue 301 was Chameleon Boy hanging out with R.J. Brand, who is his dad. R.J. Brand funded the Legion, and it's all about Chameleon Boy going back to Durlan, or is that the name of the planet? I'm not sure, but anyway, he goes back to get his powers back. But I digress. Moving back, geeking out on Legion here a little bit. Now this was an anomaly in the 80s. This came out, and me and my buddies, this came out in 85. My buddies and I kind of rolled our eyes because we saw what they were doing. First of all, they took Hex, Jonah Hex, and this is in 1985. This might be post-crisis or right when it was going on, but anyway, Hex, they threw him into the future, and I haven't read these yet, but I'm thinking this future isn't too far off. I think it's around this time now, if I had to guess. And basically, if you look real close, they pretty much took Hex, who was the cowboy, threw him in the future, and turned him into the Road Warrior. Now, Mark Texeira apparently does the artwork. Great artist. You know, I think he got famous on Ghost Rider a few years later. But it's a post-apocalyptic world. I know it didn't make it to the 20s or something like that, but I got number 1 here, a quarter. Remember, these all are quarters, so I took the chance. Got number 2, the nuclear ravaged world needed a hero. What it got was Hex, by some kind of robot dogs. Number 3, somebody who feels no pain, the Lotus Eaters. Number 7, and that looks like the chick from the Barren Earth, Conquerors of the Barren Earth in the 80s. I remember that mini-series. Who knows? It looks like her. I don't know if it's her. It looks like we got intelligent rats going on here. Okay. Number 9, Day of the Cyborg. I'm looking forward to reading these because my mouth kind of fell open when I saw this. Okay, you can see there's some credits there who works on it. Number 11, though, is Night of the Batman, right there at the Statue of Liberty. Great cover. Kind of interested what's going on there. And it's a Dennis Cohen cover. Okay. And number 14, Stiletta apparently is the villain, and we have the Dogs of War. So maybe we're, you know, looking at a little Kirby crossover there. I doubt it. But what was amazing about these is that this book did not take off in America, but I remember hearing it being critically acclaimed in some European countries, Italy and Spain being the first two that pops in my head. They absolutely ate this book up. So, you know, they had fans somewhere, and I'm going to give them a read. Okay. Now, another thing, it seems like, you know, we're in the 80s here. These were also a quarter a piece, and I bought a few duplicates. But Atari Force came out in the 80s. Now, this book is not, you know, I haven't really heard anybody reminiscing about it. But what I liked about it, and hopefully this will complete my set, they made 20 of them. There's a big editorial in the 20th one I remember reading, you know, saying they knew the writing on the wall, so they were able to make this complete. I'm pretty sure they tied up all the loose ends and stuff. But what is amazing about this, for some reason, this is one of those satisfying reads. It's never going to take off. Maybe, you know, who knows what's going to happen. Apparently, you know, Atari was hitting big. I think this book came around in 84. Yeah, January of 84. So it was probably on the tail end of 1983. I think these things are, if it says January of 84, it actually probably came out in November of 83. I can probably give a tutorial why they did that. Anyway, what we did here is that I believe this was licensed by Atari 2600, Atari 1600, Atari 2600, Atari 3200. Who knows? It's way back when. You know, they were taking off. This is before Nintendo hit, and you know, so I think they kind of did a little licensing there. And when you look real close to this, I'm seeing some X-Men in there. Dart looks like Aurora. And we have Tempest there with the long hair. He has teleportation abilities, far-reaching, but he has a speciality. He's actually able to make wormholes. He can make a wormhole here. I'll show you a cover in a minute, where I can put my fist here, and it'll come out of the wormhole and hit myself in the back of the head. You know, it's pretty cool. The Pack Rat, Blackjack, all these things. What makes these really, really good, in my opinion, is the artwork. They had some great talent on this. You have Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. I love that guy. I love his artwork. And you've seen his artwork because whenever DC did any merchandising in the 70s and the 80s and stuff with Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, you know, Aquaman, anything, they always used his artwork. It always blew my mind, why did the guy not end up doing Justice League or something? They put some lame people there towards, you know, the later half of the 80s doing the artwork there, like Luke McDonald and just these horrible artists. And you have Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. He's sitting there doing Atari Force. They've got him doing a Dead Man miniseries. And then he did a few fill-in issues of Teen Titans here and there. And, I mean, you know, this guy was great. But anyway, they had him. They had Ross Andrew doing some of the artwork. If they had Ross Andrew doing it, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez did the inking, and just great artwork. Dart is a really, really interesting character, strong character, and this, of course, is science fiction. And it just has its own little contained universe here. Just really good stuff. Aliens, solid artwork. You know, just a little page of what's going on there. A lot of action, a lot of plot lines going on. Played with color around. Really good stuff. There's number 3. Like I said, these were a quarter a piece, and I should be close to having all of them. Tempest and Dart. Family Reunion. Number 5. Meeting the bad guy, the Dark Destroyer. Face to face with the Dark Destroyer. Yeah, this is a Ross Andrew issue. Ross Andrew, great artist in his own. I remember him mostly from being introduced to him to some Spider-Man he did. From what I understand, he was around for quite a while. Number 7. Solid stuff. Gary Conway, Andrew Heffler coming in. That's Babe. They want to go home. That alien, as big as he is and as strong as he is actually just 2 years old. I mean, just amazing artwork in this. This solid storytelling. Okay, they're out of order. Number 6. Here's what I was telling you about. Now, a couple of these, I think there's 2 or 3 here I got for $1 a piece at an antique shop. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But like I said, I found a whole ton of these for $1, and by the time I was thinking I may not have these, I might as well go ahead and pay $1 for them. But as you can see, you know, putting his hand in there, coming up behind the bad guy. Really good play on wormholes and sci-fi stuff. Really good stuff. Yeah. Number 9. Very Storm-like in my opinion. I think she's actually like, you know, Irish and Caribbean and Egyptian or something. Somewhere along the line. In one of these they have a Who's Who section, and they talk a little bit about the characters. And oh, this one has a backup, number 12 here. Keith Giffen jumped in there. Did a few backup stories. And like I said, final issue was number 20. They knew the writing was on the wall, if I remember this right. More Keith Giffen. Just really good stuff. Alright, got a few Marvel books here for $1 a piece. And these are reprints from the 70s, but they're Kirby stuff. Okay, Marvel's Greatest Comics. Starting the Fantastic Four, number 72. This was $1, cheaper than when it came out, brand new. And the Scroll takes a slave. If I'm going to do this by memory, I'm going to say this reprints Fantastic Four, number 90, Jack Kirby, Stan Lee. Marvel double features. I think these did Tales of Suspense. Captain America Wanted Dead or Alive. Iron Man story. These definitely, if I remember right, these have some great Gene Colan art. I think the art, they started reprinting Iron Man number 1 and things. Okay. Marvel double feature. Captain More. I think these are actually Kirby issues in this one. Meets the Power Man and the Swordsman in a mystery villain, which just has to be seen. Alright, Marvel double feature, Captain America and Iron Man. And they call him Traitor. This is definitely some Kirby stuff in this one. Okay. Number 17. More reprints, like I said, for $1. That's definitely some Kirby stuff coming up in this one. MODOK, one of my favorites. Just because it was amazing to stick something like that in a comic and make it work. Captain America Nomo, number 19. Found out this one has a little rip in it, but that's alright. And since this one was open, Yeah, presented in Tales of Suspense number 95, A Time to Die, A Time to Live. I need some Kirby stuff. Some Kirby Captain America there. Every panel a masterpiece. And reprint of Iron Man number 1, Gene Colan. Archie Goodwin writer, bless his heart. And what I always liked about Gene Colan is I read an interview about how he did fight scenes. And so they were supposed to be a mess and kind of hard to follow, because when you're actually in the fight, you don't know what's going on. You don't have time to do witty banter and know exactly where you're at. Number 20, To Be Reborn. Looks like it's Captain America and Black Panther. And here's what was cool about these. Here's a king-size special. I think it's from 1969. Herb Trimp cover. Got it for a quarter. King-size special. Pretty sure this has the origin story by Kirby and Lee. And then it goes back, I think in around 64, 65, Ditko stepped in. 64 and 65, if I remember right. And it's a bunch of Ditko stories of the Hulk. Basically, what I flipped through, I really didn't see any material that would have been new at that time, but it's been a while. And it just kind of blows my mind to see the Hulk. If you look real close, that can easily be turned into Peter Parker with messed up hair face. First appearance of the, origin retelling of the leader. Really good stuff. Not really going to complain too much. And my favorite inker is in this one, Tom Palmer. Doctor Strange, number 175. It's kind of beat up. It's got some chipping. And I'm not sure if that is from something nibbling on it, because it's not clean, or if it's from a clay-based paper they had in the 60s. Maybe 50s they had those. I might be remembering wrong. But, bless their hearts. I'm not as big a Marvel fan, and by no means do I put down Marvel, but to me, you read some of their stuff, it's dated, it's not nostalgic. And every now and then you look right in there and you see, Gene Colan there being a little artistic, and then Tom Palmer coming in and just, bam, out of the ballpark, Kind of shades what was coming in the 70s with their Tomb of Dracula work. But, I actually flipped through the Doctor Strange. I was excited to find it, and to my opinion, if it's not Ditko doing Doctor Strange, just put it back. I'll read it and give it another chance, but, we'll see. Now, like I said, that same day, finally getting out and seeing people again after, that Superflu that hit me. Kind of got a little bit carried away, but still came out with a great deal. Just throw this in there. $1.25. Did not want to pay that, but that's Dark Dominion number 10. I believe this was the last issue of the series. That puts me down to having 3 books, needing 3 books to have the entire collection of Dark Dominion books that went out of business in the 90s because Marvel sued them. It's in one of my other videos, and I'm just a step closer there to having a complete set of comics from one company. The stories aren't bad. This cracked me up. I thought this was pretty cool to find. I'm a Carl Barks Donald Duck fan. I have a few things for Carl Barks here. I'll collect these every now and then. Just to give you an idea of the old bookshelf here. And you'll see why I thought this was funny. Like, we have DuckTales, Carl Barks' Greatest Dark Tales Volume 1. And I got some other Disney stuff here, but we'll do that later. Let's see what I found out here. I think there's some Carl Barks in this. Walt Disneyland Birthday Party. This was reprinted, but, I digress. But anyway, I found this, and what it is that Don Rosa came out with The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. And I thought I had found, me a cheap copy. Turns out it's a 12-part story, and this is the first 3 chapters of 4 planned issues to get the whole thing out there, which is fine. I haven't read. I've heard a lot about this. And like I said, I'm a Carl Barks fan, but I've heard of Don Rosa, and I think I met him at a HeroCon and just did not realize who he was or didn't have time. But this book when it came out was $10.95. This came out in the 90s. A reprint edition. When did this come out? Looks like it was around $4.96 is exactly when it came out. But anyway, got it for $1.50 because the person in that particular part of the antique shop, it's like a market, and everybody gets a a little section that they rent out. It says Poor Bark's Copycat Writer, $1.50. So, sorry Don Rosa, but got me a good deal. Somebody just, I don't know, I'll read it and then I'll have my opinion. And while I was sitting there trying to debate on getting this, my better half, my girlfriend there, she's amazing. She just kind of walked by, reached down, picked this up out of my hands because I believe this was $8. Yeah. And what it is volume 4 of the reprints of the Alex Raymond Flash Gordon. And this particular book reprints, I believe, 1939 and 1940. I didn't even know these were out here. This material in this book originally ran from March 12th, 1939 to April 7th, 1940. I was so excited to find this. So this gives me a foothold to get some other volumes. I believe they came out with 5 volumes. And I'm a big Flash Gordon nut. I have the 1979 cartoon set where they actually went back to the Alex Raymond stuff and tried to work it in. And we had in 1980 the Flash Gordon movie, which I have over there with the Queen soundtrack, which I liked. And I saw in the theater. And this is just amazing. This company just came out with them. This is Flash Gordon versus Frozen Horrors. Absolutely stunning artwork. Alex Raymond is the man. We have awesome artwork in the front cover. Okay, a little keyhole there, looking in what this is about. I mean, these guys, this is from the 1930s, guys. Amazing stuff. The War of the Syndicates of Flash Gordon. Looks like we have Rip Kirby, Juggle and Jim. Looks like somebody's talking about all kinds of stuff that was going on. I'll have to read that later. We get a little synopsis, but some of this artwork was just blows you away. Let me find a little something there. Look at this. That is Zark right there. Look at that. The use of blacks. I'm sure they might have recolored this, but this is the 1970s. I mean, it's just amazing stuff. Al Williamson, Alex Raymond, Russ Manning. Those guys are just amazing. Here we go. Shades of Frank Frazetta. Frazetta, I believe, started, some of his first published stuff was in the 50s. And we get this stuff in the, 20 some years before that. I see some Bernie Wrightston in there. That art that influenced Bernie Wrightston, the use of blacks. I mean, just amazing stuff. And I'm sure these were the comic strips. Yeah, here we go. I mean, this is just amazing. I'm sure these were in the Sunday Funnies. They narrate through. There's no word balloons. The whole thing is narrated through there. As soon as I find the picture of Dale, I wanted to show you guys. We'll end this video. But it's just amazing stuff. It's time to pick up the face. Now, another thing on Netflix, I just found the Planet in Peril, the serial from I think 1936, and I see, they kind of went by the comic strip and some of that stuff, some of the fights and everything they were in, meeting the linemen. So here it is. That is just a fantastic picture of Dale. I mean, call me a sucker, but I just love that artwork. And there was actually a panel in here that was reminiscent of the first time Superman met Lois, but I won't dig through here and find it. And I just kind of wonder if that was the art style or if that was the drama. you know, kind of did everything just kind of sync up to where everybody kind of had the same vision there. But it was really, really took me into the this stuff just blows me away. I really geek out over the stuff like this. So thank you, baby, for buying that for me. I got a few ideas here. Here's another book I bought. Got this for $1. The Conan Universe Official Handbook from 1986. And if you are a Conan fan, it goes country by country in alphabetical order. Gives you an idea of the arms and armor, and what they could and couldn't do back then. A little bit of the gods and worship as the Hyborian Age. We get a map of the Hyborian world. And I actually remember people when we were growing up that tried to write letters and stuff because they thought they wanted to do papers for school on the Hyborian Age, thinking this was real, that this really happened. And I was like 15 or 16 and just not had the heart to tell them that it's not real. This never really happened. Here we got a little red Sonya. I think that's a June Bingham, right out of the 80s. This was published in 86. This is the only one they had. It's from A to Z. If you're a Conan fan, it's definitely a must because it's just a cool overview. I have a few ideas for a few videos now that I'm moved from a new job where I'm working during the day instead of the evenings. I'm having some problems sleeping, so I've pulled out a few things. I'm thinking about doing a few videos of comics that had the best fights, in my opinion. Also, I have another video that I'm wanting to do. I'm just going to make sure I get it right when I do it, but I want to talk about the Fantastic Four versus Galactus and Silver Surfer for the first time, and what I'm getting out of that story, to where it's basically man versus God, and who the Silver Surfer represents and who Galactus represents. And then I'm going to talk about Secret Wars number 10, where it's pretty much Doctor Doom versus the Beyonder, and talk about that version of what I'm interpreting as man versus God. I'm kind of excited about it, and hopefully I can do it some justice and you'll stick around to check it out. And if anybody's, you know, interested in that, leave a comment down below, and I'll get to it sooner than I want. But I think it'll be one of the first videos I do that's sort of in-depth in talking about, you know, how I'm trying to be real careful here. Just kind of like what people may have overlooked and get them thinking, maybe get a good discussion going there. Alright, have a good night.